5 reasons your shoulders aren't growing. After 40, and I'll give you a heads up, reason number 1 is the most serious of all, and you might be making this mistake right now. Stick around until the end to find out how to fix it and achieve massive shoulders in 30 days. Don't forget to like, subscribe to our channel so you don't miss any videos, and hit the notification bell. Let's get into the video. Number 5, lack of variety in your workout. The first thing you need to know is that your muscles are smart and need constant stimulation. When you stop challenging them, they quickly adapt to what you do repeatedly. If you always do the same exercises, your shoulders might simply get used to it and stop growing consistently. The secret is to vary your exercises frequently and always seek new challenges for your shoulder workouts. To have massive shoulders, you need to constantly challenge them. Even if you are over 40, your shoulders need continuous stimulation. To make your shoulders grow, you need new exercises. Don't limit yourself to military presses and lateral raises. Try exercises like the Arnold press or face pull, which help your body develop faster and your shoulders to grow more quickly. Also, remember to always switch up your equipment, changing dumbbells and bars, and varying the order of your exercises regularly to keep your muscles guessing. Play with reps and sets. Alternate between high reps and heavy weights. This helps keep the muscles in constant adaptation and ensures intense workouts. Number 4, incorrect exercise execution. The 7th reason why your shoulders aren't growing as you expect is poor execution of shoulder exercises at the gym. You might be lifting heavy weights and following an intense routine, but if your form is wrong, all that effort will be in vain, and your workout will be wasted. Worse, you could be overloading your joints and putting yourself at risk for serious injuries, which can be irreversible depending on the severity. It is very common for older men to experience serious joint injuries due to incorrect exercise execution, so be very careful when performing them. If you're like most men over 40, you've probably accumulated some aches and injuries over the years, especially in the shoulders, due to excessive force and poor posture during exercise execution. Incorrect weight usage can exacerbate these pains, limit your mobility, and reduce your ability to train consistently, hindering muscle growth and worsening your results. But why is proper form so important for shoulder growth? Shoulder muscles are relatively small compared to other muscle groups like the chest, back, or legs. This means that if you're moving the weight with your body's help, using momentum, or lifting carelessly, the wrong muscles end up doing the work, hurting your results. If you're doing shoulder exercises and feel other muscles, like the chest or legs, being activated, something is very wrong with your workout, and it needs to be corrected immediately. Instead of focusing on the deltoids, you might be recruiting more of the trapezius, chest, or even the legs to compensate for the movement. As a result, your shoulders aren't receiving the proper stimulus and aren't growing as they should. Be honest with yourself. Are you performing each rep with control and precision? Do you always check if you're in the correct posture during workouts? Or are you cheating on the movement to lift more weight? You need to be careful with every execution and workout to ensure you're doing it correctly. It's not worth cheating in your workout as it will harm your results. Now, I'll show you the main exercises that you might be doing wrong without realizing it. The first exercise is the dumbbell shoulder press. You might be overdoing it with the weight and leaning your body backward during the movement, which puts more pressure on the chest than on the shoulders. The tip here is to use moderate weights, keep your core engaged, and perform the movement slowly and controlled, without losing focus on the exercise. Focus entirely on the correct execution. The second exercise with the highest risk of injury that you might be doing wrong is the lateral raise. This is a fantastic exercise for the medial deltoid, but most people end up lifting the dumbbells too quickly or with their elbows too low, which can cause unnecessary injuries. Focus on raising your arms to shoulder height, keeping a slight bend in the elbows, and lifting slowly and regularly to failure. Use lighter weights, as execution is more important than weight in this exercise. The third and most common execution mistake is the front raise. This exercise targets the anterior deltoid, but often people use their body to propel the weight upward, which takes the focus off the shoulders and puts pressure on the back. This can be even worse if you did back training the day before. The correct form is to keep the torso stable and perform the movement in a controlled manner. Number 3. You're not working all shoulder muscles. This is a very common mistake among many men when doing shoulder workouts. Ignoring this aspect is a serious error in shoulder development, as the shoulders are more complex than they appear. Unlike other muscles that might only have 1 or 2 focus areas, the shoulders have 3 main heads: the anterior deltoid, the medial deltoid, and the posterior deltoid. Each of these areas needs to be worked adequately for your shoulders to grow in a balanced and proportional manner, resulting in full, impressive shoulders like those of a bodybuilder. Therefore, you should never neglect the posterior deltoid. It's one of the hardest muscles to develop, but it's absolutely essential for achieving large, defined, rounded shoulders, which you desire. When the posterior deltoid isn't properly worked, you might end up with a hunched posture and imbalanced shoulders, which affects not only aesthetics, but also functionality. Don't make this mistake, as it significantly impacts shoulder growth. To avoid this, include specific exercises for each part of the shoulder in your routine. First, to develop the anterior deltoid, do exercises like military presses, dumbbell presses, and front raises. This will allow you to train the anterior deltoid effectively and achieve great gains. For the medial deltoid, you can do lateral raises and behind-the-neck barbell presses. Remember to execute these exercises properly to avoid injuries and maximize results. And finally, to target the posterior deltoid, perform exercises like reverse flies, high rows, and face pulls. It's important to push to failure to improve your gains, keeping focus on the exercise and using lighter weights. Always remember that a complete shoulder workout should include movements that target all 3 heads of the deltoid, as well as both compound and isolation exercises. This ensures you are working all muscles and avoiding imbalances and long-term injuries that could hinder your gains and shoulder growth. Now, let's move on to the next point. You might be focusing too much on lifting heavy weights and forgetting something even more important: the quality of the movement. Number 2, are you overloading the weight instead of focusing on quality? A common mistake among men over 40, especially those with gym experience, is the obsession with lifting heavier and heavier weights without considering the quality of the movement. It's easy to fall into the trap of thinking that the more weight you lift, the bigger your muscles will be. However, when it comes to training shoulders, the main focus should be on correct execution and movement quality, not just the amount of weight you're lifting or the intensity, without respecting rest intervals between exercises. Why is controlling the movement more important than weight for shoulder growth? Lifting too much weight without control not only limits muscle activation, but also increases the risk of joint and muscle injuries. Shoulders are delicate joints, and overloading them without proper technique can lead to serious issues like tendinitis, rotator cuff injuries, and bursitis, which can keep you out of the gym for weeks or even months. It's worth reflecting. Is it better to perform an exercise with heavy weights for 3 months and be sidelined for a year due to an injury? Of course not. Don't make this common mistake. The key to muscle growth, especially after 40, is maintaining continuous tension in the muscle throughout the entire repetition, rather than focusing on excessive weights. This means moving the weight slowly and controlled, without using momentum to lift and without cheating on the descent. Focus on feeling the muscle work in each repetition, which can be more effective than training with very heavy loads. How can you tell if you're lifting more weight than you should? If you can't control the movement from start to finish, the weight is too heavy for you. For example, if during lateral raises, your arms drop quickly on the way down, or if you're using your entire body to lift the weight, this indicates it's time to reduce the load. The same applies to military press or any other shoulder exercise. Remember, load progression is important, but it should be done gradually and with good execution. Movement quality is more valuable than weight in exercise. Transform your shoulder workout. Instead of increasing the weight, try increasing the time of each repetition. This means slowing down the movement, especially in the eccentric phase, descent. A controlled descent of 3 to 4 seconds places your muscles under tension for longer, which can result in greater strength and muscle size gains without harming your joints and avoiding serious shoulder injuries. Number 1. Are you ignoring the importance of mobility and flexibility? This is a point that many men overlook, but it could be drastically hindering your shoulder growth. If you have limited shoulder mobility, your ability to perform full-range movements with proper form will be compromised. As a result, your shoulders won't grow efficiently, which could prevent that rounded and defined look you desire. This is one of the most serious mistakes for shoulder development. Why is mobility crucial for shoulder muscle growth? When you lack a full range of motion, you can't fully stretch the muscles during exercises, which can compromise the stimulus needed for muscle growth. Additionally, a lack of mobility can overload other parts of the body, such as the neck and back, during shoulder exercises, leading to injuries. Therefore, it's very important to spend time stretching before starting your workout. Do 5 minutes of stretching before starting your shoulder workout with light weights and 10 repetitions, repeating the movement 3 times before starting strength exercises. Men over 40 need to pay even more attention to mobility, as age tends to restrict flexibility and range of motion in the joints. Over the years, it's common for joints to become stiffer, especially if you have a sedentary lifestyle or sit for long hours. This means you need to dedicate time not only to weightlifting, but also to exercises that improve your mobility and promote muscle growth. Exercises to improve shoulder mobility. 1. ***. Shoulder rotations with a stick. Hold a wooden stick or a light bar with your hands apart and rotate it forward and backward over your head. This helps improve range of motion and shoulder flexibility. This exercise can be done at home before your workout. 2. **Stretching with an elastic band. Use an elastic band to perform passive shoulder stretches. Pull the band behind your back to stretch the anterior deltoid and chest, helping to warm up your shoulders before starting your workout and avoiding unnecessary injuries. 3. **Rotator cuff mobility. Use a resistance band to perform internal and external shoulder rotations. These movements help strengthen the rotator cuff and improve joint stability, being essential for maintaining shoulder health. Incorporating mobility routines into your shoulder workout not only prevents injuries, but also allows you to perform exercises with a full range of motion, maximizing muscle growth. This will make your shoulders bulkier and rounder. Make this change in your workout and see the surprising results. Before we finish, don't forget to check out the next video to continue our discussion on how to further improve your workout. See you there. Thanks for watching.